Hi there, my name is Kristin Skelton and I'm the owner of Floofins Co in-home pet care. Today I'm going to do a video blog on raw feeding. I have a few clients and a few acquaintances that definitely are interested in raw feeding, but sometimes the feeding process is a little bit too daunting for them. So I wanted to share a few tips that have really helped me be able to keep on top of the raw feeding that I have to do with my girls. Prissy and Portia are both raw eaters, and for me, they are on a raw diet along with a pumpkin supplement. So for them, I have to feed them canned pumpkin along with their raw food for a little bit of extra fiber. And typically you can find canned pumpkin at local dog stores, as well as around the holidays you can find tons of just plain canned pumpkin, not the spiced pumpkin, at your local grocery store as well. So I use the canned pumpkin, and for me, the girls need to have about a quarter teaspoon of canned pumpkin per meal, which is very, very hard to measure if you're using a whole can of pumpkin. So I use these handy dandy little ice cube trays. They're about a quarter tablespoon for these mini ice cubes, so I just put this in the freezer, freeze them, and I have little supplements of ice cubes that I can package with their raw food, and it works really well for me. So what you do is you get your ice cube tray ready, and what you're going to do is spread the pumpkin into the ice cube tray and just freeze it. So for me, a butter knife works really great. I can just put some pumpkin into the tray, squish it in there real good, you know, level it off just like you're making ice cubes, only they're a little thicker. And just go ahead and squish it in there, and make sure you're leveling it off as you go. When you're done, you'll have a full ice cube tray, and you can pop them out just like regular ice cubes. So I have a bin in my freezer of pumpkin supplements. So here they are. They're just like a little frozen cube of pumpkin. And my girls eat one of these per meal. So morning and evening they eat with their raw food one of these little pumpkin cubes. So I keep a whole can of these pretty much in the freezer until they go, and then I put another can in the freezer. So it's a great way to kind of conserve your pumpkin, because this is only going to last about 7 days in the refrigerator, and it's a great way to conserve it. So I've got my pumpkin cubes. The next thing you need to learn about raw feeding is how it's fed. Dry food is by the scoop, wet food's by the can, raw food's by the patty. So there's a couple different size patties typically with raw food. Large patties and small medallions is what they call them. And for my girls, they are the perfect split of one large patty per day. So if you have a small dog, you're probably going to have a little group of medallions that you're going to use during the day. For my girls, it is one large patty. So they are on Stella and Chewy's. This is one of our favorite brands. This is the Dandy Lamb Dinner. So it's a conglomeration of raw lamb and some fruits and veggies. They do really well on it. Portia has horrible allergies, and this has really helped her a lot. So what you want to do is, basically, the easiest thing that I found is packaging a day's portion per day and then pulling it out of the freezer, because you can't unfreeze an entire bag of this because it'll go bad. So what I found is these little containers. I can find them at Target, Bed Bath & Beyond, and they hold one raw patty just perfectly, and you can freeze them. So what I do is I take my raw patty. So this is one day's food for my girls. So they split this in half, and they eat a quarter each in the morning and a quarter patty in the evening. So what I do is I put my frozen patty in here, and I have my frozen pumpkin. So I just take 4 of these little frozen pumpkin cubes, put them in here, and that's one day's portion. So it works really well. You can basically, every time you open a new bag of food, grab your containers, put the patties in there, stack them up in your freezer, and you've got 12 days, depending on the size bag you have, of frozen raw food ready to go. And then when you do your feeding in the morning, you do your feeding in the evening, depending what they're on. When you're done with the last meal of the day, you just reach up in the freezer, grab one of these little guys, stick it in the refrigerator overnight, and you have a thawed-out portion for your dog in the morning. So for me, I find pumpkin, sweet potato are a very typical supplement. So the ice cube trays work great. You can get larger ice cube trays if you have a larger dog that needs more pumpkin, and then these little small guys work wonderful for your toy breeds and small breeds. And these containers work wonderful for patties. So it's been great. We haven't had to pull patties out every night and try to shuffle patties around. This has really, really helped us kind of consolidate our raw feeding and make it actually really easy to do on a day-to-day basis. So those are my tips for you today on raw feeding. Again, I'm Kristin Skelton with Floofins Co in-home pet care, and look for more video blogs on our website at www.floofinsandco.com. Thanks.